welcome back. My name is Lynn. Welcome to Hope for Today, and I'm glad you're joining me today. We're going to be talking about moments with God. Moments with God. Do you ever have those? So I want to talk about a couple things real quick, and I want to just kind of get you going here. These are some moments in time. The smell of an apple pie baking, the sound of the rustling leaves, a fall crisp morning walk. Oh, it feels so good. The fun of apple and pumpkin picking, the warmth of the sunshine hitting your face, having friends over for a cozy fall meal. These are some of my favorite times of this year. I love the burr season. I've talked about this. I like September, October, November, December. Got that? The burr season. I'm now starting my burr season early August. What do they call it? Now the new name for August is Ogtober. Ogtober. I think that's how you say it. So you can convert your season of the burrs into starting in August, and it gives you the right to do what you want to do in the August month. I know that's a silly little thing on the side note, but it's a fun season. The colors are changing. The season is changing. The smells are so yummy. There's lots of things that we get excited about and anticipate. It was about a week or so ago we talked about holding onto God's right hand. I don't know. Have you been doing it? Did you do it? Did you let go? Did you kind of slip? You know, my hand slipped away from his. Do you need to grab it again? I find that, it's like when you walked with your parents and you were a child. You'd walk so far and hold their hands, and then you'd gallivant around. But the whole thing was you always wanted to stay close to them. You wanted to know they were not too far away. My grandson was visiting me yesterday, and he crawled over to me, and he was crawling in a circle, and then he kept looking back. Where's Mom? Mom right there? Okay, I'm safe. And, he would travel, and he'd hear her voice. Oh, is Mom there? As long as Mom's voice, and he could hear Mom and see Mom, he knew he was okay to venture off. But then if something happened, a loud noise, or somebody would walk by he didn't know, he scooted right back to Mom. He wanted to hold Mom. Mom will keep me safe. And that's how we are when it comes to things of the Lord, that, we might venture off, and God's given us a task to do or a journey to go on, and, we're off, but, you want to look back. Lord, we're close, right? We're right there. And you might not always be holding his hand. That's a time when you need that extra comfort. But you don't want to wander away too far. You want him right there. I had to Google, and it says how many things happen in 1 second. So with each second that ticks, 4 babies are born and 2 people die. The Earth travels 18.5 miles through space. 60 sets of this happen every minute, and 60 sets of this happens every hour. And then there would be 24 long sets every day. That gives us 31 million seconds in a year. Let's see what happens to us in a year. 31 million seconds. If I told you have 365 days, you'd be like, yeah, you have 31 million seconds. What are you doing with those 31 million seconds? Have you spent any time with the Lord? Are you thinking about him? Are you holding on his hand? Are you meditating on his word? For those of us that are older, we realize how fast time goes. When you're young, you think you're never going to get there. You're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. But the older you get, you look back and you go, wait a minute. I did all this, and yet the time and what, very wow. And when I was a kid, we had a magician come to Vacation Bible School. And he had this clear glass bowl, and it had a bunch of beads in it, but I didn't realize the beads were on a string. And I remember him saying, now you adults out there are going to get this. The kids might not. And as he was doing this magic, he was talking about things of the Word in the Bible, and it was all faith-based. But he just let this little strand of beads hang over. And then he just pulled 1 or 2 times. I remember him just tugging at it. I could tell you still where he was. I love when you can remember like you were there yesterday. I was only 29 yesterday, and now I'm a grandmother, so I can't figure that one out. But I am 29 and holding. But he held these beads, and he just tugged on it ever so much, and I could visualize the stage and the beads, and just over the years, I've gone back to this when time has gone so quickly, and I saw him tug on it, and the beads just kept pouring out of this glass bowl. And he said a few things, and next thing you know, boom, all the beads were out. And he says, that's how quickly life can go. How many moments have just passed by you? Did you enjoy them, or did you miss out? Did you think about 31 million seconds? 31? I think it was, right? Let me double check. I don't want to misquote that. 31 million seconds. So we're in October. We're not quite at the end of the year. But in just a few more months, 31 million seconds of your life is over. You know, the beginning of this year, I talked a lot about, having a fresh start this year and new beginnings and changing things. And it's not too late. It's never too late with the Lord. It's never too late to go to Him and say, hey, I need to regroup. I need to have a moment with you. I need to get things right. I need to, whatever you need to do. When is the last time you walked with the Lord? Now, I know we have the spiritual walk and we're growing in the Lord. I want to make this a little bit more of a Lynn. You know, you ever say this is a Lynn thing? Or, you put your name in there. This is a Lynn thing. I used to think that prayer was this. Now, hear me out, because I don't want you to misquote me or misunderstand me. I want to speak to the Lord with reverence and respect at all times. No ifs, ands, or buts. There is never a moment where that should not be on the forefront of my mind. But I used to think that prayer had to be this thing. You had to bow, you had to kneel, you had to, whatever. Like, it had to be a moment. Now, there is time and place for that. But if you're going to do a Lynn, this is a Lynn, okay? Many of you know me, on and off camera, on and off in the office. What you see is what you get. There are times I need to talk to the Lord. It's like, Lord, you and I need to talk. Something's going on. We need to talk. I'll sit in my car. I'll talk. I'll be home washing the dishes and we're talking. But some of the best prayers I have is going for a walk in nature. Walk up and down your driveway. Walk in your back or your front yard, or just go sit under a tree. Something about communing with nature while you're talking to the Lord. But I mean it in like a lighthearted way. I talk to Him as my friend. Last week we talked about how I used to look at the clouds, and if you missed that, you got to go back and check that out. I was a kid, but I still, every time I look at the clouds, remember the things I thought about with the Lord with the clouds. So if you missed the cloud story, you got to go back and listen to that podcast. But when I walk with Him, it's my time to talk to Him as my friend. And listen, again, I guess I'm simple-minded. Maybe I'm too young-minded. But it's just the way I can have a conversation. And I'll say to the Lord, so how was your day today? Would I not say that to my best friend? I hope you had a good day. Hope people got saved. And I just talk to Him about, the things that I would hope for Him. Now, He's perfect. His world is perfect. His light, everything about Him is perfect. I'm sure He's up there many times listening to me pray and laughing hysterically. If anything else, I give the Lord as a good laugh. Because I'm just as real with Him as I am with my other best friend, who was my husband. And I'll say, how was your day? How did things go? And in that, then I start talking to the Lord about, I had a rough day today. And, somebody said this and it hurt my feelings, or it confused me, or I had a great day. Lord, I'm so excited. I read in your word that, I can hold your right hand, and I'm so excited that church event's coming up, and I can't wait to be involved. And I just start talking to the Lord as I'm walking about my ups and downs and my ins and outs and the craziness of my world called, the life of Lynn Wilson. And I just start talking. Not so much praying like that I need, or I just talk to the Lord. When is the last time you had a moment like that? We tend to spend time with Him when we're in need, or someone else needs prayer, and it's this kind of moment of, need, or, I've heard people say, well, I need to worship Him, so I'm going to go worship. I totally agree that we need to worship the Lord. But can we not take it so seriously? Again, reverence and respect. I'm not saying a lack of that. But being lighthearted and just talking to the Lord and going for a walk, and go for a walk by a lake or the ocean, walk on the sand, and enjoy the beauty of what He's created, and looking around and absorbing that and letting it hit your soul. You know, sometimes I know I take life too seriously. I don't want to, I'm at a point in my life and the age that I'm at, enough is enough. You know what? I took life too seriously, raising my kids, first married, all those things, having a career. You got to do, you got to measure up, you got to, all these people expectations, and I've done all that stuff. I'm kind of like up to here with it. Right now, I just want to be Lynn. Just plain Lynn. I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy a sunrise and a sunset. And there was the Northern Lights. Did you all have those by you? I went out, took pictures. I was with a group of ladies, and I took pictures of the Northern Lights. I was so excited. I had to tell the Lord, did you see that? Did He see that? Of course He saw that, but that's how excited I was. And He's my best friend, and I wanted to tell Him. Again, He's probably laughing at Lynn, but that's okay. He created me. He knows the way my brain thinks. He knows the way my personality is. He created all of that. I'm sure I give Him a good laugh. Do you take time to just be thankful? Not in this heavy, just, Lord, thank you for the Northern Lights, or thank you for my best cup of coffee I had today. Thank you for that, or whatever. The little things, the big things, all the things, getting you through a very traumatic time in your life. Lord, thank you. Ooh, I finally can breathe. I'm on the other side of that. Absolutely taking time to thank Him and worship Him, thanking Him for your salvation. That's absolutely. In James 4:8, it says, come close to God, and God will come close to you. Just think about that while you're on that walk. Come close to God. Start talking to Him. Feel that presence of Him right there, right beside you walking. He will come close to you. In Ephesians 5:16 through 17 in the NIV version, it says, making the most of every opportunity. Are you making that? How many 31 million seconds? Are you making the moment of every opportunity of every second of your day? Now, granted, you can go a little crazy with this, so we're not taking life too seriously. But there are moments that we need to sort of regroup and take, into consideration. But make the moment count. Spend the time with the Lord. Okay, I'm going to this direction. I'm going to this place. I'm going to talk to this person, or whatever the case might be. I need you to come with me. You ready? Let's do it. Grab His right hand and say, we're doing this together. We're going on that walk together. We're going in that place together. I'm making that phone call with you. Whatever the case might be. I want to enjoy a fall breeze this year, and I want to enjoy the smell of the leaves after it's rained. I want to tell my husband I love him. I don't want to miss a moment in those 31 million seconds not to tell him that. Life is so short. Are you loving on your kids the way you should? Are you mending relationships that you need to mend? I know of a family that is very close to me, and the sisters have not talked in probably 30 years. I cannot understand that. You might not be super close, but 30 years have gone by, and that's your own sister that you haven't talked to, and you probably can't even remember what the problem was, and if you do, it's probably so distorted after 30 years. You know what? Stick the book on the shelf. I tell people that. That's the way I like to say it. Stick the book on the shelf. Give her a phone call. Tell her you love her. Life's too short. Really, this is your relative. Make it right. I want you to take a moment today and enjoy the simplicities of life. Go get an ice cream. Go get I don't know whatever makes you happy. Go get a Krispy Kreme donut if that makes you happy. Go for a walk. Just do something lighthearted. Take a moment to laugh and to giggle. We'll catch you all next week on The Next Hope for Today.